Hi, this is Team Kangaroo. Here's our container registry system. High-level implementation includes creating 4 virtual machines on Google Cloud. We installed Docker on each VMs. We created Swarm cluster with 1 master and 4 slaves. We implemented round-robin resource allocation for the containers in the Swarm cluster. We created a controller to manage the controllers in Docker. And here's a high-level Docker container registry system architecture implemented. We have 1 controller and 4 VMs. The controller accesses the master using the Swarm Remote API and also has access to all the 4 VMs using Docker Remote API. We implemented round-robin resource allocation. We have a Swarm controller and replica on 2 of the VMs, and all the 4 VMs have the controller, the Docker controllers. Now we move to the demo. We have implemented the user interface at the UMKC lab, which accesses the Google Cloud VMs. For the sake of time, I've already logged in, and here is a page where I specify the RAM and CPU to create my container. I have reserved 1 container, and I can validate that it is accessible, and yes, it is. So I will create a second container, specifying the RAM and the CPU. I have created a second container with a different host and port number, and that is accessible. Now I go back home to see the statistics information, and I can see my statistics as well as the billing information for the 2 containers I created. For the sake of time, I will go ahead and demonstrate removing the containers. Here are the 2 containers. I remove the first one, then the second one, and I will return back to home. Now for the bonus part, I will show how Swarm the cluster works. I will reserve my specify the RAM, the CPU, and the port information, and then the replica, and I can reserve my resources. And here are my Swarm cluster. Now I'll go back and check my services, and here is my billing information, and I can go back and remove my Swarm services, and I will delete my port number, and this concludes our demonstration.